Hey dudes, what up? It's time for the season 2 finale of the Magnus Archives. It's been a bit, but I just watched Don't Look Up with my sisters, so it was a great movie, but the whole time I was Jonathan Sims brain rotting. Because shit's going down. There's a fucking door. I don't what's going on? What do you mean? I don't know it. Okay. So stuff's going down. And I will watch the episode in which things go down. I guess enough said. I just want to get into this. I guess I'll be trying to memorize poetry, but I'm gonna do an awful job. Like, I literally just want to listen to this. I might try, but I'm not probably not that much. Hide and seek. It's the last of those credits. It's time.
We really solve murder cases because nobody
Oh
else
yeah, I
is
have
doing
that volume way
Oxygen
up.
knows that in the world of true crime,
Okay.
some women uphold
badass detectives, and we're
No, one ad only.
Rusty Quill presents the Magnus Archives. Episode 79. Hide and Seek.
What's gonna happen during? Okay, let's just do whatever this is. Audio looking good? Yeah, audio's looking good. Okay. But I'll lower myself a little more because this audio deserves more volume.
Streets by Martin K. Blackwood. The streets are hard in
Poetry.
London, paved in old secrets.
Hey, I'm doing poetry right now. Okay.
The threads of people walking, living.
What a coincidence.
You're sure about this? He did tell us to go home.
Yeah, and then he said, sorry for everything. Something's up.
You don't think he's going to...
Aw,
I
Tim.
don't know, but he's going to do something.
You know? You know?
Like sneaking a cigarette bad, like properly bad.
So we need to help him.
We need to stop him.
And we needed my tape recorder
Because something tells me we're going to need evidence by the end of today. I don't want to wind up in court without something to back me up.
Court?
Dang, Tim has good instincts.
Tribunal if we're lucky, inquest if we're not.
You did use a new tape, didn't you?
Yeah, I took one off the pile.
Was it blank or... Tim?
It was blank.
Sweet was again.
Don't get my hopes up.
Dang,
John?
Tim is a smart man.
And
I'm
he's got...
glad he didn't just leave like he didn't care.
He's going to...
I
He left
don't
because he
know,
was
Martin.
being...
I
He
think
was
he's going to
suspicious.
fully up
He
the
didn't
deep
leave
end
because
is
he
what
just
I
didn't
think.
give a fuck.
He hasn't
That's
already.
great.
Look, I know you don't like him,
You got that, did you?
but I'm not going to help you get him
Right.
fired.
Martin, what do you think is happening here? This isn't office politics. It's not like he's had one too many at the Christmas party and started ranting about the Greeks. Whatever is
The
happening
Greeks?
here, it's literally supernatural.
Really? Isn't that a little, you know...
No, it isn't a little, you know.
Didn't we just get
There
eaten
is
by
something
worms?
in this place, and it's messing up our heads. It watches us all the time. It stops me quitting. I'm pretty sure it would stop Elias firing John, even if he decided to actually try running this place for once.
You sure you don't want to say?
I'm sure.
But like deep down,
No.
maybe. Oh. So you really think the Institute is, what, haunted?
I used to. Now I think it's worse.
How?
Oh, God! What the hell was that?
Not Sasha. That's who it is.
What the hell was that?
It kind of looked...
Oh, don't say
It
it.
did though, didn't it?
That wasn't Sasha.
No, it wasn't. Oh, you don't think?
He told her to go home, like us.
Yeah.
He told you he would tell him that. Tell her
Yeah.
that.
He went into the tunnels.
No. No. Not happening.
We can't just leave him.
Yeah, we can.
Going.
Everyone out for themselves.
I'm not
I
coming
don't.
down there
I
with-
don't judge Tim for having an ounce of self-preservation.
Fine.
I don't blame him for valuing his own life. It's just so awful.
Damn. I took Michael's door. It was that office. The thing.
What's gonna happen in here? I'm very scared of these doors now.
Not exactly the escape I was hoping for.
Is it even an escape? Where are we?
Still, it is. It is a head start, I suppose. I have no idea where in the tunnels I am.
Oh, it took you to the tunnels. Interesting.
It didn't leave me trapped in some corridor hell maze.
Yeah, okay. That's good. Thank you, Michael. I guess. For helping out whenever you can, for some reason.
I just wait. I don't think it's going to just
Do we deserve this help? I guess, sure.
attention. You might as well leave
Questionable.
it down here with me. Just stay quiet. Stay hidden. God, I'm an idiot. Smash the table, kill the monster. Stupid.
Yeah.
Sloppy assumption, of course. The table was
Sloppy.
The table is webs and spiders. Spiders are something else. They don't help each other. They oppose. They weaken.
Okay, I'm sorry for pausing. I was right about it. I was right. The spiders are opposing this thing. Bruh. So all these different forces that we've been seeing, like at odds with each other, is there like when Michael was talking about the war, is it like Jonathan Sims was talking about the war, but Michael was implying the war, and Jonathan Sims was like, "Are you talking about a war?" Is the war not just between like the Institute or humanity and all these monsters? Is it between all of these monsters and another monster, aka the Institute? Or the archives, or humanity, or whatever scale we're going with this? I don't know. Interesting. So yeah, they explicitly said it wasn't just a it wouldn't make sense if it was throwaway. The whole spider web binding, not them. They're not them. I don't know what the fuck to call it. They're not them. So it wasn't just a throwaway thing. Obviously, it's really the spider thing. Whatever the spider thing is. Whatever the spider thing is. It has something to do with the table. And it's opposing the not them. Well, I don't know what I'm conceptualizing by doing this. Spiders. Not them. This is them punching each other. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just thinking. Which makes sense. Jonathan Sims, you should have... there was obviously some opposing going on in that very explicit Exorcist tale where the spider webs caught that thing. But Jonathan Sims was not having it, and he was having a hard time. Oh my god. Okay. So, yeah.
I was caught in a web. And all the pieces were there, and I couldn't see it.
Yes, It's okay, John.
Tell you I have left. I'm going to
By the way the music picked up.
What now? We need to hurry.
The way it switches between them.
I thought I heard something up ahead.
Didn't hear anything. Why do you think it was the Sasha thing?
Will you shut up about that? It wasn't anything like her.
I know, but I mean, like, if you really stretched her out,
We're never going to find out.
You.
go get some help.
Not stretchy people.
Thought you said he was a waste of a suit.
Well, it's better than nothing.
If you want to go, I understand.
I'm not just going to leave you down here.
You were all about quitting.
Oh, for God's sake. This isn't about you.
Never is.
All right, fine. Fine. What do you want? What's your light at the end of these spooky damn tunnels? And don't say everyone happy forever, because that's not happening.
Jeez, you're so mean to Martin.
Well, I don't know. I want to find out what's going on. I want to save John. I want everyone to be fine. And you know what? If we were all happy, that wouldn't actually be the end of the world. No, it's not fine. You've been going on and on and on about how alone you feel because John's not taking your feelings into account while he's having his breakdown. But you're just doing the same thing. We've all been going through this, Tim, but you're the only one who's been running away.
Okay.
I mean, we're all victims here, and I guess it's important to recognize that. Martin, you're right too.
Yes, there is.
Stay back.
Hi,
No.
Michael.
Who are you? I'm Michael. Did the archivist not tell you about me?
Oh yeah, he didn't. Because he hides everything.
Far better.
What are you doing down here?
Probably watching the archivist die. Maybe not. Either way,
I'd rather not.
I think it's called a sport.
What?
I think I might also kill you. It would be easier than killing the archivist. None of you are protected down here.
No, now hang on.
You are going to try and help him.
Are they
I
protected
want
up
to see
there?
what happens without you there.
Martin?
No, okay, because there's two of us and there's one of you, okay? He's not killing anyone.
Martin, look at his hands. Oh, go. Where the hell are we?
What door did you go through? Was that door there before? Because I don't know. Do not trust door sounds.
I kept going lower. No arrows pointing down. They were just good. I don't know. I found a weapon of sorts. I don't know if it'll help.
Clinging noise.
I can't find it with a pipe. I'm tired just carrying it.
How are we gonna save this?
But it does make me feel a bit better, so...
How are we gonna survive this? Well, let me think. I'm sorry, I keep pausing. I just want to talk because it's interesting. We have seen spiders down here, haven't we? Like spiders, like he went deeper and he went deep enough that he saw a bunch of spider webs or something. Or like he saw like spiders like eating like the worms or something, like the worm carcasses. So maybe if the spider thing hates not them, then we bring it deep enough to get killed by spiders. I'm so smart. I don't know what's going on. Okay, aside from that, Michael said interesting things before he tried to kill us, and also while he was trying to kill us, I guess. He said, "You're not protected down here," which is interesting because I feel like there have been some hints before that. Oh, there was the hint that like for a moment when John saw not Sasha in the tunnels, he was able to recognize her as not Sasha, like as in not being Sasha. He was able to recognize that for like a split second before it like kicked back in the weird reality mind magic or something. So there's been some hints that like down here people aren't affected by some of the reality bending wacky stuff as they are up out of the tunnels. which is interesting. Maybe. So that can be a hint to why Michael said that they're not protected down here, which draws into question they're protected in the archives, which I know that they're not allowed to leave, like they're not allowed to quit. But like, is that protection? I had no idea that was protection. I thought that was a bad thing. Can you not hurt them up there? Interesting. Huh. There's also this question of why Gertrude had to Gertrude had a room where she was burning the lighteners, and why did she have to bring the lighteners down here to burn them? Is it something about the tunnels that is like that takes away protections, like that are in place, or like takes away these effects that these special objects and things have? You know, it's like a cancel-outy place or something. I don't know. Okay, it's just conjecture. Let me continue the episode.
I might have gone away, but I think it can sense me. At least a bit. I can hide. For now, I think, but I don't know for how long. I can't kill it. I heard the tape. It erased Sasha just like that. Deleted her from the world.
I hope Sasha's not.
I hope this tape works the same. That my voice remains intact, even if I'm gone. Even if it wears a face that people think is mine, pulls me apart, becomes me. Listen, it's not me. Whoever hears this, it is not me.
I think it's a sad thought. It's like this, the way he's so desperately trying to tell.
I don't even remember what she looks like.
That must suck.
Now that I've seen it twisted, I still don't remember her. The only face I can picture is...
It's just so sad. This is more sad. This entire thing was more sad than scary, but now we're back to being scary because I'm feeling for his life.
It's okay, John. It's Sasha. Reliable old Sasha. Nothing to be afraid of. You seem stressed, John. You've been under a lot of pressure. You should talk about it. Have a real good chat. You like talking, don't you, John?
He does do that a lot.
I'm going to wear everything you are. Like you never existed. No one ever know. And it will hurt. Oh yes, it will hurt. It hurts, Sasha. Shut up!
It really did get to him, huh?
Where the hell are we?
Oh no.
I thought the door led further down.
I don't think we're under the Institute anymore.
You guys are in a fucking hallway, aren't you?
Not to think about it, it makes my head feel weird.
Well, which way do you think?
Right. Let's go right.
I don't think this thing's working properly. It keeps making this weird noise.
I can hear it. I think Sasha's dead. I don't want Sasha to be dead. Sasha's dead. I hate that.
Run, John. It makes it so much more satisfying. Do you have any idea how long I watched you and your little acolytes? I hated it. Let me tell you a story. You like stories? We could even call it a statement if you want.
I want to know.
Once upon a time, there was a monster. No one realized. Sometimes someone did, and then they were scared. So that was good. But one day a nasty man came along. A nasty man who tricked the monster and wrapped it all in webs and tied it to a table. So the monster got its friends to carry the table all around, and it still got to take faces and scare people. Then one day, it was sent to the house of its enemy, which had the biggest
It's a lot to think about.
I almost enjoyed watching you scurry around, desperately missing the point. At least I knew what I was looking for. You really aren't even a shadow of your predecessor.
Apparently Gertrude knew a lot.
Even I would make a better archivist than you. Maybe I will. You miss the unknowing, of course, but you won't understand it anyway.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I should have... I'm sorry, God. I'm so sorry.
I wonder, if I wear them, will I really become the archivist? Help the eye of its pupil? Probably not.
Excuse me?
But it should. I wonder, if I wear them, will I really become the archivist? Help the eye of its pupil? Probably not.
Something its pupil?
It's just kill you, I think. Yes. I think that would be best.
Please forgive me. If you're still alive. If you hear this, get as far away from the Magnus Institute. No. No, please.
This is...
What?
Mr. Sims,
Yes.
I think it's time we had a talk.
I've seen the title and summary of the next episode, so
The Magnus Archives is a podcast distributed by Rusty Quill
I have a guess as to who that is.
Distribution and commercial share-alike
I didn't
platform
expect
under
that.
international license. Today's episode was written
I
and
should have
recorded by
expected that,
Jonathan
considering I've read the
Alexander
not the
Jones,
summary, read the
Mike LeBeau,
description of the next
directed by
episode, even
Alexander
though I
Jones. To subscribe,
just
view
didn't
associated
realize
material,
I'm
make
just
donations,
bad
visit
at predicting things.
rate and review us on iTunes. Tweet us at
What just
Rusty Quill.
happened?
Visit us on
Oh my
Facebook
god,
or email
what?
us at mail@rustyquill.com. Join our community on the forums via the website or on Reddit.
I want to look up everything that it said.
Thanks for listening.
I have to text my sister something. Uno momento. We don't talk about Bruno, but it was our wedding, it was our wedding, we were getting ready, and it was on a cloud morning. Things are going wacky. Okay. I want to look up what everything that thing freaking said, so I can actually process what the hell I just listened to. Oh my god. Okay. I'm coming. Why am I saying I'm coming? I'm coming to you, Magnus Archives wiki. I'm coming. I'm sorry. Come on. Okay. I like all of these episodes built up to this one thing. It's cool. Distant cousin, hide and seek, which is the episode I just listened to. Okay. Not them. Apparently the not them does not have a dash between the not and the them, like not Sasha. Thank you for the clarification. No, it does have a dash between them. In the statement, what's happening? I don't know what my sisters are saying. Okay. In the not them in this wiki writing, not them with a link is written as not them with no dash, but later in the summary it says not them with a dash. Okay. I don't know if that's just a technical thing. Rip. Web table. So the webs have something to do with the fractals? I'm insane. I don't know what's going on. So the fractal table with a hole in the middle. But just the fractals. I'm just thinking about the fractals. So I'm just thinking about the fractals, you know? Because like I'm distracted by my sisters, but we've seen the fractals everywhere. So are the fractals connected with the spiders? Every instance we've seen people drawing fractals, that's connected with the spiders? I don't know what's going on. Okay. Tim and Martin. Martin calls Tim out a little bit. I get Tim, but Martin still deserves to papa, you know? He says taking someone's body hurts them, and ripping them from existence hurts them, which is like, how would that hurt? Interesting. Okay. Fucking Martin and Tim are in a door. I don't like the sound of that. These doors scare me. Okay. Let me read about the not them again, because I need to know what the heck just happened. It's how. Take identity, feed off the fear of people. Take identity and feed off the fear of the people who realize. So is that why people are left over who are able to identify that person as not the real person, and they feed off the fear? I suspected that a lot of these things feed off fear, because that's usually how it works in these sort of things. Why else would they be doing these awful things all the time, and only these awful things? And also, Jane Prentice seemed to be super against the Magnus Magnus Archives. Yeah, the Magnus Archives, I guess. It feels weird saying the title. the archives. I can just say the archives or the Magnus Institute, because they seem to lessen because the goal of understanding lessens the impact of fear, basically. She had her friends take the table from one place to another. So, the Breakin' and Hope people are allies with the not them. So okay, that makes sense, because I was confused as to how the Breakin' and Hope involved with that exorcist guy. Because he took the table there, and then these people took the table away. But no, that guy took the table there, trapped it in the table, and then I guess left it there or something, and the Breakin' and Hope guys moved the table around at the not them's command, and the Wicked and Hope guys are evil, like I suspected. Probably. Wait, so did the not them leave the Sasha tapes inside Sasha's office, like kind of hidden, so that John would find them and like go into a rage and destroy the table, thinking that it would solve the problem? Cause okay, smart monster person. So yeah, okay. How to take on his feet off fear. Trapping the table. I feel like there's more to. Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, Gertrude Robinson's it's a lot. Jonathan Sims was putting dirt on Gertrude Robinson's name at the start of this series. But now we're learning that Gertrude Robinson knew a lot of things. A lot of things. Like apparently, she just listens, she does statements and then she's like, the circus, I don't, that circus, they were kind of like this in 1917, but here in 1950 it's pretty good. After this guy left and this happened and this, and then she's like, she knows everything about everything, and it's like, oh yes, they're not them. I personally think them to have something to do with the stranger. She just knows everything about things that I have no idea about. And that Jonathan Sims has no idea about. She seemed very knowledgeable. Okay. What the fuck? What does that mean? Huh? Okay, I need to re-listen to what the hell this thing said about becoming the archivist or something. Because that's one thing. The way they're treating the whole archivist thing is like weird, because it's like we've heard like Michael called John the archivist and other things. Maybe Jane Prentice, I don't know. But this is like the way this thing said it. It was like I could become the archivist. Like it was like a title, or like it was a thing. Like it's like it meant like a big deal. Like it was like yeah, like it was a title. Like it was like, I don't know, like an established mythos around being the archivist. What the frick? I completely missed whatever this article says about the unknowing. But I heard like the eye and the pupil thing, and I was like, what? I thought it was the pupil of the eye, but like no, like the pupil as in the archivist is the pupil of the brain breaking. My god, okay. Strange man. So the web table. So that guy in the apartment, what the frick was the snatchy hand? I guess, was that snatchy hand just the not them? Just they could elongate the snatchy hands, I guess. Table though, where do you get the table? Okay, I'm gonna re-listen to some of the stuff that they said, even though as terrifying as it is. Spotify hates me. Oh my god, it's going insane.
You like stories?
I'll listen to the story
You
again.
can make a statement if you want. Once upon a time, there was a monster. No one realized. Sometimes someone did, and then they were scared. So that was good.
So sometimes they realized. There's no like qualification like I was thinking about realizing that it's a different person. No, some people just realized, and fear, and that's a good thing. So it was about the people who were it was about the people who realized. It was about their fear. Fear seems like a big deal here.
A nasty man who tricked the monster and wrapped it all in webs and tied it to a table.
So that was the dude, Exorcist. Bigger than hope.
and it's still got to take faces and scare people. Then one day, it was sent to the house of its enemy, which had the biggest eyes you ever did see.
Oh! So the enemy is the Magnus Archives. It's the Magnus Institute. We're the enemy. I keep saying we as in I'm part of it. I am part of it. I am them. I embody these characters. They are me. I am them. I'm invested. That's what I mean. So we are the enemy. Sent to the enemy. We are the enemy. So the table got sent here. We're the enemy. We had a gigantic eye. We're a gigantic eye. Apparently, we have under a gigantic eye. That is us.
It was sent there to steal all its secrets, but it was sad because it couldn't scare anyone anymore.
Everyone knew.
After what seemed like forever, a stupid, arrogant little man cut the webs and set the monster free. Free to kill and scare whoever it wanted. So thank you. I did leave you what clues I could, but I never had hoped you would actually release me.
Well, Jonathan Sims. You have a laugh at me.
I almost enjoyed watching you scurry around, desperately missing the point. At least I knew what I was looking for. You
Hey, come
really
on.
are
Don't
the
knock my
shadow of
man.
your predecessor. You're nothing. Even I would make a better archivist than you. Maybe I will. You'll miss the unknowing, of course, but
You'll miss the unknowing, of course.
I'm sorry, Mom.
even I would make a better archivist than you. Maybe I will. You'll miss the unknowing, of course, but you won't understand it anyway.
Okay. You'd miss the unknowing, of course, but you wouldn't understand it anyway. Okay. Whatever that is. I'm just name dropping things now. Okay.
Sorry, Mom.
I forgot to mention how fucking good Jonathan Sims. Jonathan Sims actor. Jonathan Sims' actor, Jonathan Sims, is doing a very good job at the end of this. He's literally crying. I don't want to hear sad Jonathan Sims anymore. I know I was laughing about it in the last couple of episodes, but I was laughing about how sad it was. Sad Jonathan Sims is sad. He's very good at sounding sad. Oh my god. There's a lot of sad things that he said in this episode, like stuff like him desperately saying that, like, this is his real voice, please remember me, real me, please. Like, that's like, it's like a horror thing, like they've been using this whole thing of like, imagine you woke up and it was a different person completely, like, in your life, but like, this didn't feel like scary, it felt sad, because he was so desperately scared of that, of not being, or like not, I feel like Jonathan Sims has expressed this sort of like fear throughout the series, I guess, at least since the season 1 finale, of how much he wants to record things, like on his tape recorders, is like for the reason that he wants people to know that he was there, like he wants evidence of his existence, like that type of stuff, and that's like relatable, but also it's coming out, it's still staying here, and it's still really sad this time when he was talking about Sasha. Is Sasha really dead? I hate that. No, I like Sasha. Okay, but then dang, Sasha. Okay, but what was I saying? This when he's saying sorry to Tim and Martin, he's like fucking crying. He just thinks he's gonna die. He literally just thinks he's gonna die, and he is gonna die basically until Mystery Man shows up. Jesus. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I should have... I'm sorry, God. I'm so sorry.
I wonder, if I wear them, will I really become the Archivist?
Yeah, really become the Archivist. Rob.
I'm sorry, God. I'm so sorry.
I wonder, if I wear them, will I really become the Archivist? Rob the eye of its pupil.
Rob the eye of its pupil. Will I really become the Archivist? Like, the really adds a lot to that. Like, it's like an impossible thing. Like, being the Archivist. Like, what does that mean? I'm going insane. And then rob the eye of its pupil. So apparently we got an eye watching us, a big gigantic eye that's the enemy of this thing, and apparently probably Jane Prentice too. And I just hate this eye. So there's an eye, and it's at the Magnus Archives. It's here. It is the Magnus Archives. I don't know. And the Archivist is its pupil. It's pupil. Okay. Sure. Okay. This place is wacky. We got eyes watching us. We can't quit. Okay. So yeah. Okay, next episode. Let's see what's going on with this mystery man who is totally not in the summary right there. Okay. Let's just watch this. 30 minutes.
This is Alex, director of the show and voice of Martin. I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you who have helped us get to this, the Magnus Archives Season 2 finale. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone who has taken the time to donate directly or via Patreon. Your generosity has allowed us to set up a dedicated recording studio which will massively assist the production of the Magnus Archives going forward, and allow us to
I like
record some
seeing
rather
the show
special
grow
episodes.
is great
Not only
too.
that, we have been able to begin working on some entirely new content which we hope to announce later in the year. I'd also like to thank everyone who has taken the time to leave us positive reviews, nominate us for awards, and just generally share our content on social media. It's thanks to your efforts that we have managed to grow as fast as we have, and we are so grateful to you. Finally, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for taking the time to listen to our nasty, creeping archive. Without you, we'd just be scaring ourselves. Enjoy today's episode.
Rusty Quill presents the Magnus Archives.
Jürgen Leitner. He's Swedish, German, something. I don't know anything. Let's see how this volume is looking. Okay, it looks fine. Okay.
Episode 80.
Let's
The
see.
Librarian.
The Librarian. You're everywhere, man. Whew. Let's see if my stream's still going. Yup. Yeah.
Please, I don't know how much time we have.
Oh,
So you said.
so this is. I can't believe I forgot. I completely forgot about the thread. Of the person living down in the tunnels, even though that was very important and we've been building up to it for the entire season. There's a person living in the tunnels, and and it's Jürgen Leitner. That makes sense. I got caught up in the whole not them thing and the Michael thing and everything else and the spider table and the table spiders and Jonathan Sims making awful decisions. You know, I got caught up in that and forgot about the fact that these tunnels have been here the entire season and there's someone living in them that's human. Okay, let's just continue.
Is that necessary? You think I pose a danger to you?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Then take it with you, but I can't afford to just sit here.
So talk fast.
What are these guys?
At least have this conversation in the tunnels.
I'm not going back down there. That thing, is it dead?
Unlikely. Whether something like that can actually be destroyed. It is trapped, I hope, for a very long time.
And Sasha, the real one.
Was that her name? I'm afraid she's gone. Whatever it does to those it takes, they don't come back. She's dead. Do you need a moment?
No, I'm...
I thought
You're not what I expected.
she was main, you know. I didn't think she would leave. I thought her main characters were main characters.
English was always my first language.
Oh.
I used to adopt an accent sometimes when meeting people. A sort of personal joke. But truth be told, my Norwegian is terrible.
Oh, so he's
now,
Norwegian.
Are you going to help me or not?
You first.
Help you?
You want my help? You answer my question.
How can we help you?
Agreed.
Good.
Sorry.
Statement of Jürgen Leitner, February 16th, 2000.
It's a guy, spooky book man, with very spooky books.
You're quite like her, you know.
Who?
I suppose that's no surprise. Anyway, your questions?
Oh, with Gertrude?
Let's start with what you did down there, how you trapped it.
Were you guys buddy pals?
An unexpurgated copy of Ruskin's The Seven Lamps of Architecture, published in 1845. Of course, Ruskin didn't even begin writing the book until 1846, and the text of this one varies markedly from the version that was distributed. It gives an acute sense of the walls pressing in around you, and if consumed recklessly, will physically entomb the reader. Over the years, I have found that it interacts with Smirk's architecture, and those tunnels specifically, in a more predictable way. By carefully reading specific passages in certain locations, I'm able to exercise a degree of control over the substance of the tunnels.
I didn't hear you say anything down there.
I said reading. It
that's
doesn't need to be
why. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'll comment that after he finishes saying the sentence that he's saying. So that's what the frick, the thing. The person going into the trap door who was like, who melted through the floor or something, who the floor moved for him. It's him, and he has a cool book for it. A cool little wacky book for it. Great. Makes sense. I don't know what the deal with like Gertrude is though, and like him, and like how long he's been here, like why he's here. Okay, that's just good.
Right. So you can.
So you can read. So that's cool. Like usually when you have to do like a spell or something, you have to read. Oh, that's why when Jonathan first went inside the tunnels, like it didn't happen all the time, but it happened like sometimes he discovered like he took a turn and he went in, it looked like his arrows were going the wrong direction and he had to fix them a little bit. Like that's why it happened only sometimes, like a little bit, like in certain just like a couple times where he had to fix it and it wasn't. And the thing that got me there was like, why was it like if the tunnels are shifting all the time and being spooky weird, why can Jonathan? He said like it's quick fixes though, and I can still just go and it's easy to fix. And I'm like, really? It's because there's just one person like changing them somewhat sometimes when he's moving around. Interesting. And also, I like that concept of like spells. Like usually when people people read spells, like they have to read them out loud so like the devil can hear them or something. But like just reading them in your head being enough, like implies like just the processing of it, or like the mental awareness of the words, like, is enough for the universe or something, or this being or whatever these books are made of. I have no idea. That's an interesting thing, like enough to affect change. So that's just a cool thing to do with like the mind that this show decided to do.
Though even setting aside the obvious dangers, it's a time-consuming and imprecise process. That said, I will admit that when you began to explore again, I closed off certain passages and remade others. I wanted to keep you contained while deciding whether to make contact.
You moved the tunnels for me.
The upper levels, yes. Made them more rational, actually. It didn't strike you as odd that you were able to map them in a matter of weeks.
I thought I was just getting a sense of the place.
I thought they were just normal tunnels.
Rubbish around for me as well, giving me hints.
Didn't you think it was kind of weird that these tunnels that you discovered were able to be mapped out? No, I thought they were just normal tunnels. At least logically sound. Okay. Trash?
And the arrow.
No. I thought I was being very careful cleaning up after myself.
Really?
But you have keener eyes than I gave you credit for.
The
I
eyes?
should have expected
I was
that,
looking
I
at
suppose. The arrow,
the eye shit.
however,
Please stop being vague about
mine.
the eyes.
The not Sasha
Really?
had come down several times.
Oh,
I
think we need that.
It was almost as curious about me as you were. Perhaps it thought you might have better luck flushing me out. I suppose, in a way, it was right. In retrospect, using the 7 lamps...
So, Sasha was the one who drew the arrow. And I was right about there being 2 beings in the tunnels. I thought the tunnels were alive, because that's usually what happens when the passageway is shifty. But no, it was just tunnels. I guess they probably still have something, like, supernatural to them, considering how people have talked about them in the past and how they've been used. But, like, the things that are impacting the tunnels so far have been Jürgen Leitner and not Sasha. The 2 things that I thought were at odds with each other were actually at odds with each other. The 2 forces in the tunnels that are working in different ways, which confused Jonathan Sands. It was like, why would they not want me to go deeper in the tunnels and also want me to go deeper in the tunnels? Like, he was like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, it's 2 different things, and I was right, except they were both, neither of them were the tunnels themselves, which I was wrong about. I'm talking way too much. Oh my god. Okay. So, what about this?
So much was perhaps unwise.
Also the
I
eye
am
hands.
balanced
Shut up.
architecture somewhat. However cautious I might have tried to be.
And the other book.
Hardly
That's true.
it was right. In retrospect, using the 7 lamps so much was perhaps unwise. It is
the book.
possible I unbalanced Smirk's architecture somewhat. However cautious I might have tried to be.
And the other book.
Hardly a book. Barely 12 pages. It is entitled A Disappearance. If read cover to cover, it removes one from the world. I can't say precisely what that means, only that the assistant I assigned to it, Jacob Feng, was never seen again. I have found, however, that
Erased
reading
from the
only
world.
1 or 2 words is sufficient to hide me from the prying eyes of your master. It allowed me to talk with
Your
Gertrude
master?
in relative safety, and occasionally come above ground for my own ends.
My master. We'll get to that.
Please get to that soon. So,
Hard to
So-
say.
Gertrude and Jürgen Leitner were buddy pals or something. They talked. I didn't expect that. We knew that Gertrude was was collecting Lightners, but I didn't think it had something to do with, like, it was somewhat related to the fact that she knew the guy. I thought this guy was out and about somewhere, nowhere, anywhere. Like, how did he get here? I had no idea he was here. He always seemed like such an elusive figure that I thought, like, he would be off somewhere else. he like, we would never see him ever, but no, he's just a dude. Hello? And English is his first language. They've misled me into thinking he's just this mysterious cloudy figure out somewhere, when he's actually a guy who doesn't have a Scandinavian accent. I feel so betrayed. Okay, let's keep going.
I've been in hiding for over 20 years now, ever since my library was destroyed. Obviously, I have not spent all that time below your institute. The old
Who destroyed your
Millbank
library?
prison tunnels stretch out a very long way, and there are other
So it is the
entrances
prison
than one below the
tunnels.
archives. I have a small number of secure locations, though since Gertrude's death I have been reluctant to leave the tunnels. I dislike spending too much
So you've been here
time
this
in
whole
them.
time.
I am
Man.
always being hunted, both by creatures like the ones you have encountered and by certain human individuals who believe I'm to blame for the books that destroyed their loved ones. 3 years ago,
So
I made
how
the
much
mistake
are
of
you to
spending a
blame?
full night outside my safe houses. I was almost beaten to death by an angry goth.
That'll be our Jared.
I will follow.
Oh my
I
god,
wouldn't worry
okay.
about him.
By an angry goth. Jürgen Leitner knows what goths are? This man, he exists. He's out there. He's just a dude. I don't even know what's going on. Gerard. I don't know how to say it. Gerard Key. Dang. I look up Jonathan Sims. Recognized him straight away just by the description of guy after Jürgen Leitner and goth, and he said, "Ah, yes, Gerard." It's like you've heard of him like 4 to 5 times. You've never even met the guy, but he's just so familiar with his existence. It's like, that's our guy. I guess he is the guy that's always around looking for Leitners. But Jesus, Jonathan is just that familiarized with Gerard Key. Oh my god, this probably sounds awful, but I'm scratching my ear. Okay.
He passed away a couple of years ago.
That is hardly my point.
So are you to blame?
Oh yeah, he did
For
pass
what?
away. I keep on forgetting. The
Or did you just
timeline.
stick your
Time
name
was
on it by
insane.
accident? Why the library of Jürgen Leitner?
I thought that I could control them. That I alone had the knowledge to contain them. Back then, I
SCP
believed they
moment.
were simply books. Horrifying, powerful, yes, but with rules, limits that could be charted. I was a fool. I had no idea what forces lay behind them, or that they had other servants that might come searching. I was ruthless, I will admit that.
So
I
you
don't
had good
know how many
intentions?
assistants
How are
I
you alive?
sacrificed to learn the secrets of the
Oh, you had
volumes I
assistants.
collected.
That's how you're alive.
Dozens at
And they
least.
died for you. They were the
Only a
first
few
They were the
escaped
first line of
with
defense.
their life and mind intact. And even then they
What
would
did he say?
even know how many assistants I sacrificed to learn the secrets of the volumes I collected. Dozens at least.
Front lines, eh?
Only a few escaped with their life and mind intact. And even then they were deeply marked. But I was relentless. I saw myself as a guardian, a reverse Pandora, gathering the evils of the world and locking them away. And so I branded them with my seal. I told myself that if any should escape, such a mark could help me retrieve them. But I think in my heart I dreamed of my work becoming known, that the library of Jürgen Leitner would stand as a symbol of courage and protection.
Courage. It stands for the symbol of
Hubris.
absolute
I
evil.
suppose it is fitting punishment that my name has become a watchword for evil, spoken by those who only know it as marking the darkest, most terrible
Yeah.
of secrets. My name has become a curse.
I didn't expect you to be an okay guy, even though you're like slightly I don't know how to describe this guy. Good, really well intentioned. I guess well intentioned, except slightly more. I hate the term morally ambiguous. Like, it's so ambiguous. It's so non-descriptive. I get morally ambiguous. Like, even the term morally ambiguous, like ambiguifies what de-ambiguifies moral ambiguity. Like, it places moral ambiguity in a binary between morally sound and morally wrong. It like places it it's like making unlabeled a label, you know. You know, I hate the term morally ambiguous because it's so non-descriptive. More like ends justifies the means type guy, or like guy that didn't care enough for other human life, or saw his greater purpose as more important than the lives of the people he sacrificed along the way. But well-intentioned, I guess. And I never expected this from this guy. I thought this guy was just because every time we hear his name, it's the most awful thing ever. Just like you said, I thought he was gonna be literally terrifying, crazy, whatever, you know? So this is cool. This is cool what they've
I
done.
was born the heir to great wealth. My family used to deal in manufacture, steel, in textiles, all sorts. But by my time, it was largely a matter of extensive property holdings and carefully managed investments. Money making money. There was never the need for me to learn anything of worth. I suppose in another life I might have been another rich wastrel, content to squander my inheritance on
Maybe that would be
indulgence and
cool.
comfort. I always felt a calling to make something of myself, to matter. I had no interest in politics, and while I was certainly no fool, my attempts at academia were ultimately unsatisfying. Business bored me to tears. The only thing I was ever truly talented at was acquiring things. I suppose
Collector.
you could say I was skilled at shopping.
Okay.
I don't say that to be glib, nor as a comment on my wealth.
Glib.
I don't
Okay.
mean I gained any satisfaction from wasting money on vulgar Bond Street trinkets. I mean I had a genuine and pronounced talent for finding items of worth and convincing their owners to part with them.
Dang.
The most
He's a
valuable
salesman,
things
reverse
always need
salesman,
to be
a
hunted.
bargainer.
And that was where I excelled. It started by simply cross-referencing auction catalogues with local records and slightly obscure books of art history. But soon I had a network of contacts and took dinner with some of the most eccentric curio dealers in the world. It was Desmond Laurel that first told me of the books. They were a rumour, as these things
Desmond
always are,
Laurel.
and he had no idea of the dangers. Magic books, he called them. He had believed them to be coded spell books derived, of all things, from the writings of Merlin.
Well,
Poor Desmond. When he finally found one, an old leather-bound thing titled The Stalwart Hunter's Almanac, he had no idea what to do with it. I suppose, looking back, his death was a very good thing for me. The extent of the mutilation, and how closely it correlated with the passages he had described to me, left little doubt as to the connection. So when I acquired the book myself, I took exceptional precautions. The thing that surprises me most, I think, is how readily I accepted the existence of the supernatural. I had occasionally made purchases before that had caused anomalies, but nothing like those books. Yet as soon as their nature became apparent, I simply accepted it and began to factor it into my dealings with them. It was shortly afterwards I hired my
Rich
first
people
assistant,
type beat, I
a
guess.
dour man by the
They're a
name
different
of Albert
breed.
Strauss.
Huh?
He barely
By
lasted
name
it.
who?
I simply accepted it and began to factor it into my dealings with them. It was shortly afterwards I hired my first assistant, a dour man by the name of Albert Strauss.
Albert
He
Strauss.
barely lasted a fortnight.
Your assistants are not
It
having a
didn't
good
take me
time,
long
it
to
seems.
track down other books like Laurel's, and it seemed like almost overnight I had found my purpose. I was to be the keeper of evil tomes. To begin with, I never gave much thought to their origins. I simply concerned myself with acquiring them and making sure I had
So what are the origins? I would like to know, you know.
It was easier than I expected, and I'm always surprised nobody attempted such a thing before me. I suppose few walk away from their first encounter with any desire to look for more, if they walk away at all. And of those that
Unless
do,
you're Gerard
none
Key.
would have had my skill at finding them, or my extensive resources. Luck
Yes,
played a
rich man.
significant role as well. It was shortly after I had begun to have problems storing them that I discovered the work of the architect Robert Smirk. There were several
Yeah, that
volumes
guy's
in my possession
name's
that if
popped
I
up
kept
a lot.
them close to each other reacted very badly. But Smirk's writings, his principles of balance between opposing forces,
Wait, what did you say?
gave me something
I'm bad at
architect Robert Smirk. There were several volumes in my possession that if I kept them close to each other reacted
okay,
very
that's what he said. He said
but Smirk's
them
writings,
against each other.
his principles of balance between opposing forces, gave me some inkling as to a solution. Today was not the
What?
first time in my life has been saved by his architecture. I commissioned a house to be built based on some of his designs and spent a good deal of time and money gaining access to existing buildings he had worked on, with the aim of storing the books safely.
We've heard about his balance
I believe that
ideal
about
before,
that time I commissioned my book plates and began to
but it's
lay
usually been a
them.
bad
And
thing.
then the
Or a
house was
creepy
complete,
thing.
and I had my library, a vast, lopsided structure, by turns cavernous or maze-like, depending on the needs of
Yeah,
the
it's usually maze-like,
By
confusing,
the end,
narrow,
I had 978 volumes in my library, some
unintuitive.
innocuous,
Robert
some
Smirk's
unsettling,
architecture.
and some utterly murderous. In the end, I didn't have much time to enjoy my achievement. It was only a few years after the house was complete that the attack came.
Who?
You
Attack of
must
who?
understand, I had only ever encountered these dark powers in the form of books, or the occasional antique.
So is it the
I had
creatures
no
themselves?
idea
The
that there were
origin?
people or creatures out there that served them, so I was not prepared.
Magic
All my
books? Rip?
defenses were
Magic
ill
evil books.
to prevent the contents of my library getting out. I suppose getting in must have seemed a trifle. It started with the visitors. Almost every day some stranger would turn up at my door and ask to see my collection. Now, whatever my secret ambitions might have been, I was very careful not to let word get out about what I was doing.
So how did they
And
know?
these people, they were wrong somehow. They didn't move as people should move, and their cadence was very strange when they spoke. They almost always forgot to blink. Even then, I didn't realize what was coming and simply sent them away with a firm refusal. When it actually happened, it was all so fast, I barely had time to register it. One moment I was typing a new catalogue entry for a journal of a plague year, and the next, everything was screaming. My assistants, the books, even me. Thomas McMahon was stabbed through the throat by something with too many teeth and limbs like knives. Mary Johnson was pulled into a cavernous maw that opened beneath her. Gregory Todd ran into a door that shouldn't have been there. A great hand reached down through the roof and plucked away Leandra Toulouse. There was
Like the
one other
hand
assistant
from the Not Them thing?
whose name I don't recall, but the last I saw
The Not Them
of him
episode
was being
in
pulled
early
into
season.
a great pulsating pile of meat.
He might
I
have
don't know how
meat.
I escaped.
Those seem
Perhaps
very
because I
important. One of
decided-
them was a door, which is Michael's deal. One of them is meat, which we've seen a lot of. Meat. One of them was a hole in the floor. One of them was a guy knives, very knife body. Interesting. One of them was a hand reaching in from the ceiling, which reminds me of the first mention of the Not Them, which it seemed as though a giant hand reached in through his window, which maybe could be a different creature than the Not Them. How many things was this dude involved in this like really early episode? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Those is interesting, and each of those things is most definitely something very important. So I'll just continue.
I knew how to best move through it. Perhaps I was sensible enough to stay clear of the rooms that had fallen into darkness or burned with a fire.
Fall into
Seemed to leave the
darkness
books untouched.
burned with a fire.
Perhaps
Darkness and fire are things that have shown up a hell of a lot. There's been a lot of both of those things, actually. A lot. A lot of those. Like, even more so than meat. There's been a lot of meat. And I think I feel like maybe not most predominantly, but most noticeably is the darkness, because it's like every single time it's mentioned, it's always just a lot of darkness, and they bring up the darkness a lot. You know, it's very explicitly about darkness and occult, so it's very easy to recognize which episodes are about darkness. So those things are important. There's the fire thing, there's the fire lady, there's the fire, the guy, everyone feeling like they're burning, there's the burn victims, there's the, oh my god. Okay.
Or perhaps once again it was simply luck. I didn't look back as I fled. Nothing seemed to chase me, at least not then. I had none of the books with me, and that was what they were after. Of course, by the time
They
I
like
realized that, there were
did
many
these
others.
things like stage an attack? They were like, they gather reconnaissance, they go to the doors like, let me in please. And then they realized that wouldn't work, and they said, what if we all just invade at the same time? And they like planned it out too, like it wasn't just like one of them going like bang bang bang, give me I want my books or something. It was like let's all just break this place at the same time. It's a jailbreak of all our little bookies. I don't know.
Who were hunting me.
They planned a jailbreak for their books.
Who'd lost someone to the books, plastered with my name, but were now free once again. It was easier to let the world think I was dead, and to one degree or another, I've been in hiding ever since.
You're right.
About which part?
You were a fool.
Well, you were a fool also, John.
Pride. If they were destroyed, what was I to guard? Even so, I don't believe that would have solved as many problems as you think. Many of them wouldn't have burned, and some even liked the flames. And those that did, I now believe, would have been released to take a different form.
But you didn't know any of this when you had almost 1,000 of them in your care.
I've spent 20 years trying to learn from my mistakes.
You said you didn't take any of them with you, so where did you get these?
When I started working with Gertrude,
Was
she
Gertrude getting
found
them?
some editions I thought might help.
For him.
And
How
where
did
was
you guys
Gertrude
know each
coming
other?
with you?
Aside from my knowledge about the books, I think she was lonely. I didn't meet her until about 6 years ago, after she'd lost the last of her own assistants. She would mention them sometimes.
She had assistants
I believe
too,
She missed having someone to talk to.
and they died. I thought she just didn't have any.
Oh, Gertrude had assistants.
I thought it was mentioned that she just didn't have any.
Each meeting an unpleasant end.
Unlike Gertrude.
So
Oh, I feel like it was mentioned last season, maybe in the season finale, that like maybe Elias said this or someone like something about Jonathan having assistants. Like Gertrude didn't, and Gertrude died alone. Like I'm pretty sure someone mentioned that, and that's why I always thought, well, the reason Gertrude died was because she was all alone and she didn't have assistants, and they gave John assistants because so that he didn't die. But no, she did have assistants, and they were around for a while, and then they died, and then she died. I guess that also makes sense.
When she found me, it seemed natural that we help each other. In this instance, that meant finding certain useful books.
Like the Key of Solomon.
That one was a mistake.
Oh.
I thought that in the tunnels there might be the stability to examine it properly, learn something of the forces arrayed against us. But it went wrong. We had to destroy it. I should have known, really. It was one of the few volumes that contained elements of several different powers.
You keep talking about these powers, these forces arrayed against you. What are they?
I would like to know.
I hoped you would at least know that much by now. But I suppose you're simply the observer, and making these connections is not your role. Gertrude could be much the same at times.
Just tell me.
Your role.
There are entities in this world.
I've heard that before.
Beings of vast, dark power. Perhaps it would be more accurate to say they are next to the world rather than in it.
That's
True
cool.
existence couldn't function in the universe we live in, at least not as it is now. They have nothing in
That's
their
a cool
pure
description.
state that could be present in the physical world, so they sit in...
Different dimensions.
No, I don't think so. If there are such things, then these beings are linked inexorably to ours. They're not within our world, but they can affect it in certain ways, reaching out with their will to change things. I don't know where they come from, or how they came to exist, but they are, from what I can determine, effectively eternal.
You
Cosmology.
can't tell me all of this is at the behest of evil gods.
Oh, there are certainly those who see them as gods. A few even go as far as to try and worship them, but I don't find it helpful to think of them like that.
I've heard of
Perhaps
those.
you could liken them to one of the old pantheons, each with its own rituals, agendas, and spheres of influence. But I find simplifying them in such a way makes them hard to truly understand. The gods were conceived by humankind as a reflection of themselves.
True.
Their motives and actions divinely powerful, but in essence purely human.
True.
These things
Are
I
not
find them
human.
hard enough to understand without trying to force human frameworks onto them.
So
I
the
love
creatures
things like
are the
this.
priests,
Give me
these
the
books,
the
their holy
cosmology.
text.
I told you it was an unhelpful analogy. Let's try another one. To understand without trying to force
Whatever Jonathan said.
frameworks onto them.
So the creatures are what? Priests? These books, their holy text?
I told you it was an unhelpful analogy. Let's try another one. Imagine you are an ant, and you have never before seen a human. Then, one day, into your colony, a huge fingernail is thrust, scraping and digging. You flee to another entrance, only to be confronted by a staring eye gazing at you. You climb to the top, trying to find escape, and above you can see the vast, dark shadow of a boot falling upon you. Would that ant be able to construct these things into the form of a single human being? Or would it believe itself to be under attack by three different, equally terrible, but very distinct assailants?
So the books, the monsters, they're part of these beings. Just extensions of them, fingers being pushed into our world.
The books are, I think, their essence is in a purer form. The other things that stalk us, from what I know of them, they have varying wills of their own. All in service of the thing they're a part of, but not directly controlled by the mind beneath them. At least in as much as these entities have something we could recognize as a mind.
Like a muscle spasming on reflex.
Yes, that's actually rather good.
It would explain Michael's identity issues.
That's what the distortion calls itself these
The
days. isn't it?
distortion.
That
Okay,
one
that
is
makes
part
sense.
of a power that my assistant Domingo used to call Esmentiras, which I
Okay.
believe translates as
I keep on accidentally calling him the stranger because I don't know who the stranger is. I keep on accidentally calling him that. The distortion. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I got it in my head now. Thank you, Jürgen Leitner. Thank you. Finally. I have something to call him that gets the stranger thing out of my head. I don't know who the stranger is. So that's very helpful. That's very helpful. The differentiation is helpful.
That's what the distortion calls itself these days, isn't it?
That's what it calls itself.
Spasming on reflex.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, Esmentiras, which
As what?
I believe
What?
Issues. Michael? That's what the distortion calls itself these days, isn't it? That one is part of a
Distortion.
power that my assistant Domingo used to call Esmentiras,
He's
which
Mentiras.
I believe
What?
translates as it is lies or it is lying.
It is
At the
lying.
time, of course, we just used it as a way to classify books. I call it the spiral. It deals in fooling the senses, in making
The
you
spiral.
see and hear things that are not there.
So Michael is
in
the
drawing
spiral.
you into mazes and making you doubt your own sanity.
Fractals.
Yes. It seems to have a particular fondness for them.
What about bones?
So the
Does one of them manifest with
We're learning about all of them right now? Okay. So Michael is the distortion, aka the spiral. I've heard of the spiral before. That makes so much sense. I think maybe the door with the spiral in it makes so much more sense now because I feel like I've seen that places before. I feel like I've seen the text of the Magnus Archives and it's just a door with a spiral in it. And I'm like, interesting. I've tried to push that out of my head, but that makes so much more sense now. Michael, he's the doorman. I don't know how to process things, and I just confuse everything, that all the spoilers that are not actually spoilers, just weird phrases that I've heard in my head, mixed around. Michael, the distortion, the spiral. Okay. I'm going insane.
You're thinking too literally. Examining the physical categorization, but ignoring the meaning of the thing.
Yeah, like,
What
what's
are the
the...
bones?
What
In
do the bones
distortion,
represent?
Your Michael, the structure of a skeleton, an established reality in your mind, is twisted and warped into an impossible form. But in other cases, are they a symbol of slaughter and butchery? Are they the familiar made wrong? Or are they simply part of the messy physicality of flesh?
I'm sorry, this is a lot to take in.
Well,
I could analyze this. I have a lot of time to take this in. Okay.
cases? Are they a symbol? In the distortion, your Michael, the structure of a skeleton, an established reality in your mind, is twisted and warped into an impossible form.
So, Spiral, Michael, is about reality being twisted. It is a lie. It's about established reality tricking your senses, all that.
But in other cases, are they a symbol of slaughter and butchery?
One of slaughter and butchery is something.
Are they the familiar made wrong?
The
Or are
familiar made wrong. That's probably the stranger thing that Gertrude was talking about that I keep on mixing up with Michael because that's one of the only things that I've heard of. The stranger. That's probably what it is. The familiar made wrong. That makes sense. Because that's that sounds exactly like the not them. And Gertrude said that they thought that the not them was an extension of the stranger.
Simply part of the messy physicality.
The messy
of flesh.
physicality of flesh. Is that what all the meat stuff is? All of the meat stuff?
I'm sorry, this is a lot to take in.
Well, do so quickly. We've wasted enough time on your questions.
Fine.
You have the recording, you know?
Simple.
Go through it later.
Did you kill Gertrude?
No, don't be absurd.
Then who
They were
did?
besties. Who did? With a
This
gun.
is a distraction. You're in no danger.
Who?
I believe it was Elias.
What?
I guess that makes sense.
Why?
Who else would it be?
I assume he discovered we were planning to destroy the archives.
Oh, well,
Gertrude was going to destroy the archives.
This is why
I thought
need
the
those
monsters
files.
wanted to destroy the
I
archives.
searched this place thoroughly.
I
and
thought
they're
that's what
not
Jane
here.
Prentice was doing.
So I assume Elias took them when he killed her. I need your help to get into his office.
The heck?
Archives.
Gertrude was going to destroy the archives.
This is why I need those files. I've searched this place thoroughly and they're not here. So I assume Elias took them when he killed her. I need your help to get into his office.
But the cameras, they showed him.
Simple mechanical eyes. In his place of power. You think he can't control everything they see? Assuming such interference wouldn't ruin them beyond recovery, of course.
This place belongs to one of them, doesn't it?
You know the answer to that.
The eye.
I have also heard it called beholding.
The whole-
You belong to it too.
I think I need some air.
We don't have time for you to have a breakdown, archivist.
Okay, the eye is one of them, apparently. This place belongs to it. Elias killed Gertrude, probably. Jürgen Leitner was very nonchalant about that. He was like, Elias, probably. I guess he probably discovered that we were trying to kill the archives. Okay. Elias in his place of power. Is that like a supernatural thing, or is that just him being the boss? Like, he can edit the camera footage. like he did say just simple mechanical eyes, like, you know. Interesting. What is Elias's game? Because that makes sense. I'm not that surprised by that. Well, the way he's been portrayed, I guess this is what's been subverted. Elias has been portrayed so far is kind of like as a pussy. He kind of seems like a pussy the way they've like been portraying him so far. Like, he's just like, sponsors and funding, and I didn't believe you, and like, I thought you were just overreacting. like he seems really aloof with this whole supernatural. Sorry, I had soda. This whole supernatural stuff, like, he seems aloof with it. Like, he's not really involved in it. But, like, since the only suspects we had were human people, gun, and according to Jonathan Sims, employees that were involved with the archives. Like, according to Jonathan Sims, the people who were involved at the end of season 1, Elias, Sasha, Tim, and Martin. We knew it wasn't Sasha, Tim, or Martin just because of, you know, a gut instinct. Like, I don't know, I didn't suspect any of them. One of them was replaced by a monster, so Elias was the only one left over. He was like the only real suspect of the 4. And even though I still didn't like fully believe it was him, he felt like the only real suspect out of them. And the eye, it's also called the beholding. What did the not them say? Something about missing the bloobity bloob, the undoobity doing. The unbloobing. The unknowing. Okay, let's just... Jonathan Sims is like, It's like you belong to it too. That's creepy. I don't want to be part of this. Okay.
I'm going to have a cigarette. Don't.
You smoke?
I'm not sure you would have liked him, you know. He's paranoid enough. But I don't think he's got the stomach for it.
What does this job entail? Talking to Gertrude? It's kind of sad.
This is a surprise. Reach for a book and I will kill you. How much have you told him?
Enough.
About Gertrude?
No, I didn't have time.
I've wondered for so long who it could be down there. Who was helping her. I honestly never would have guessed.
How did you know I was here?
I didn't. You're very well hidden, but John is not. And he failed to take the same precautions I'm sure you took for granted with Gertrude. I knew he was talking to someone, and it turns out to be Jürgen Leitner himself. What an honor.
Elias, please.
What did you want from him?
The files. The ones you took from Gertrude.
Planning a little light arson, are we, Jürgen?
It's not just the Institute, and you know it. They had everything she had found on the stranger.
I know. It's,
So what is the stranger?
The unknowing.
Creativity never was their forte.
You, of all people, should want to stop them.
And we will. But I don't think we'll need your help.
And what's he going to think when he gets back?
Well, he was always going to need to fly the nest at some point. Go out and see the world for himself.
He might die.
It's always a danger. Almost always.
Elias, it doesn't have to be like...
That sounded violent. Dripping noises. What's dripping? What's dripping that wasn't dripping before?
For 5 years now, but
That was a very lost reaction.
it's working again.
Tim,
Yeah.
where were we?
Yeah, it's recording.
Forget the bloody tapes, Tim. Are we sure this is here?
Yes, because the tape works now.
This is here?
How long was it?
I don't know. I don't care.
Sorry, what? How can you not care?
This is us now. Worms, monsters, corridors. They'll keep happening until one of them kills us, and we've just got to deal with it. Any sign of the woman?
I don't think so.
The
We should have
woman?
helped her,
No.
but we could have tried.
How? Look.
Is it the woman lost in the corridors before?
Talking about it, it happened. Hope it doesn't happen again. Statement fucking ends.
We should look for John. Maybe we can still help.
Days, at least.
Can't just sit here moping.
Probably already killed him.
Don't joke about that, okay?
Fine.
Tim!
Try his office.
Right.
How'd they get out?
John? Oh. Oh no.
I told you he was going to do something like this.
Who is it?
I told you.
Oh, John. What have you done?
I think John killed someone.
The Magnus Archives will return late 2017. Season 2 has featured Jonathan Sims as the Archivist, Alexander
The
J.
Archivist.
Newell as Martin Blackwood, Mike LeBeau as Tim Stoker, Ben Meredith as Elias Bouchard, Eve Hewitt as Not Sasha, Frank Voss as PC Basira Khan, Lydia Nicholas as Melanie King, Sue Sims as Gertrude Robinson, Imogen Harris as Helen Richardson, Luke Boys as Michael, Harvey Kesselman as Sergeant Walter Heller, Tim Leadsom as Jordan Kennedy, Faye Roberts as Detective Alice Daisy Tonner, Carrie Cohen as Mary Key, Fran Bush as Tessa Winters, Perdita Stott as Carolina Gurka, Paul Sims as Jurgen Leitner. The series was produced by Alexander J. Newell, Mike
Related
LeBeau,
to
and
Jonathan
Sims,
Sims.
with editing by Brock Winstead, Elizabeth
Mayhaps.
Moffat, Ian Hales, James Austin, Ed Von Atticus, Jen Jacobs, Alexander J. Newell, and Mike LeBeau. It was written by Jonathan Sims and directed by Alexander J. Newell. The Magnus Archives is a podcast distributed by rustyquill.com and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 international license. If you've enjoyed this season, consider supporting us via Patreon, leaving reviews, or following us on social media or our forums. Thanks for listening.
Hi everyone, Alex.
Q&A. I'll listen to that later. It's 1 a.m. and I'd rather not. Oh my god, what do I say aside from the things that I've already said? Because I've said a lot of things. The ending. Oh, I was just sitting there going like, Elias has put on. I didn't know he was gonna be one of those characters where it's like, where it's a front, but it's revealed. Usually I don't like those. I don't like hate those characters. It's just like I don't like them as much as characters who like seem a certain way, but like it's revealed that they are still that way. But the fact that they are that way is what makes them evil. Like that sort of thing. That's my favorite trope. But this is the trope where a character seems like a certain way, but it's revealed that that's a front and they're actually this way. And usually I'm like, plot twist villains. But like, that was cool. That was very cool. He walked in and he was like, he's like, I know everything about Gertrude. I know everything about you. I know everything about the stranger. I know that and everything about the unknowing or whatever it's called. The unknowing. It is called the unknowing. He's right. That's an awful name. It's funny. It's a good name. It's a nice, simple, ominous name. But oh my god. Elias came in and beat a guy to death. Martin and Tim escaped from fucking the spiral, I guess. From the spiral. I know them now. I know their names. I can say them. That's so cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Elias said... Yeah, okay. Elias said, like, he had to flee the coop at some point. Is Jonathan Sims just gonna... Well, we obviously know he left his body there. Jurgen Leitner's body. Oh yeah, Jurgen Leitner just died. That's the guy. That's the mystery bookman that we've been hearing about for 2 seasons. We've been learning about one aspect of him. That's his legacy, but we actually knew nothing about him, despite our base assumptions. We've been hearing about this guy's been built up for 2 seasons, and now he just got killed by Elias. Okay. He got killed by Elias. That happened. He's dead. For real. full-on human man, just outseed. We learned about so much. There's so much things. Thing after thing after thing. We learned about this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. There's the stranger, which appears to be our next antagonist or big antagonist. Like it's trying to unknowing. We were trying to destroying the archives would be a good thing apparently, even though I thought it would be a bad thing. Gertrude was looking into the stranger, but Elias stole it and was like, "We'll defeat him anyway, but I don't need you." And then and then excuse me. And then we know Jonathan. Okay, my mind skipping everywhere. We know Jonathan Sims, just as Elias suggested or assumed, he bolted. He's gone. Like, is next season gonna not be at the Magnus Archives? In the Magnus Archives? Like, are we gonna be? He said he needs some time like out in the world. Like, are we gonna be out in the world? Like, doesn't that go? What? I love formula changes in shows that seem formulaic. I love it when shows seem formulaic or like by the books or like by the tropes and by the usual conventions of the medium. But then something gigantic happens, like a big twist, something awful, gigantic happens, and then the show completely breaks from form into a different formula or like just out of that formula altogether. Like, I love it when that happens. That's my favorite thing. Like, favorite thing. I love it when stuff happens like that. And I try to write it in my head all the time. And I imagine it all the time. I love stuff like that, where it goes by one formula and then something changes it completely. That's my favorite storytelling convention. I'm so excited. Whatever's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be like super different. Like Jonathan, like it's not gonna turn into a full-on like audio drama, all the characters all the time. I'm pretty sure it's still gonna be mainly Jonathan Sims. We might be in like a different like setting or some different settings. He might be out of the He might have been out of the archives. He might be, as Elias suggested, out in the world. It's insane to me. You already know how excited I got when I heard about that he was doing supplementals at the end of the episodes. Like, if you saw how excited I got for that, like, imagine how excited I am now for whatever's gonna happen later. I'm gonna watch the Q&A, I think. Maybe I don't know if I'll react to it on stream. I might react to it on stream, maybe. Just maybe. I liked reacting to it last time. It was nice to laugh at, you know, to see these guys talk like regular people. You know? And get very obsessed with the writing process for the show and get very hyped for how planned out it was. Very extremely sickeningly hyped. So yeah. Elias revealed we're under an eye. I'm trying to make an eye symbol, but it just looks like a bun, like a pork bun. This is supposed to be an eye. I try, but I'm bad at it. I got an eye. What's the thing with the lighter? Apparently Jonathan Sims used to be a smoker, but he quit. And then he's like, I need a smoke after this. I don't, you know, something about the eye. What do I do now? We learned about so much. Michael. The distortion. The spiral. I need to memorize this, or I'm gonna go crazy, because I kept on calling him the stranger, because the only person I heard of, I heard about the stranger, the spiral, and something about darkness, maybe. So basically, I heard about the spiral and the stranger and the vast. Yeah, those three. Those are the things I heard about in the past. And I kept on. I wrongly assigned to Michael the stranger because I kept on, because my head was like, this guy, he's a stranger. He's a stranger. I don't know who he is. So I was like, my brain automatically connected that, and then I had to try to shake it off. Like every time I mentioned him, I had to try to shake off that connection because I didn't even know if it was true or not. And it turns out it wasn't. And he's the spiral, which I should have known because it makes a lot of sense. But as you know, I'm insane. So I to establish that connection. I can't wait till we get more names about more things. I look up the Magnus Archives merch, and the thing that shows up is like a fucking like a t-shirt with like 9 categories on it, and I'm like, all of them have like little symbols and little names, and I'm like, those are the things which I have not heard about yet. I didn't zoom in, which is a good thing, because I just saw the t-shirts like in the little like bar, the Google bar of like the things to buy, and I couldn't read them all, which is good. I saw an eye, I saw like a little thingy, a spiral, I think, and I'm like, those are the things that I'm not supposed to know about yet. And I was like, I can't even look up merch for this show that I like. It's like, and there was like 9 of them, and I was like, well, I now know that I've heard this before, but I didn't know that this was like concretely what they were called. But entities, can I call them the entities now? Can I call them entities? Entities. Can I call them that now? I'd like to call them that now. The little thingies. So like the books and all the things that these people encounter are they're like, I guess, the fingertips in the world. It's like what Michael said about the does your hand in any way own your stomach? You know, they're like different limbs of this concept or creature that exists outside of the world. We're into the cosmology of this universe. I love it. Oh, I love cosmic horror, not because I like horror, because I love lore. I'm going insane. And it's just the most interesting lore, you know, cosmic horror. Horror just has the most interesting lore because it explores things which are like out there, or like that. It's horror not because it terrifies the mind, but because it intrigues the mind, you know. Like the darkness does that, dark things do that, but it's not because it's dark that it's horror. It's because it's great that it's horror, you know. Like especially cosmic horror. It's like it's because it's so large that it tickles the mind, you know. I love that. So we're getting into the cosmology of the universe, and I'm very excited. And like the way to describe it, of like the outside of the universe, or like they're like, and they're sticking their fingers in, you know. It's interesting. But they're not like from an alternate universe, because they're like definitely connected to this one in a way. But they're like the outer reaches of it, I guess. They're on the outside of the universe poking in, which is cool. Very cool. Interesting. I like this series a lot. I'll be back for the spider episode, because I've been told I need to react to that one, very much so. But I might also react to the Q&As at the beginning, which is cool. So yeah, this was great. This is amazing. There's a lot of things happening. My throat's awful. Signing off into the next dimension. Sasha's dead. No, I just remember that Sasha was dead. She's really dead. Like after season 1, like at the end of season 1, she died. What the hell? I just thought all of our mains were our mains forever, you know. And she didn't get enough time, you know. She didn't get enough character focus. Like I don't. Tim got a lot of character focus this season, which I'm glad about. But I feel like Martin got the most character focus in season 1, I think. Like, Sasha got a little less than him. Maybe she kind of got, like, equal or a little less. But I feel like she should have gotten more. Because we got a lot of Martin this season, too. I'm so sad. Okay. Like, I didn't expect her to be gone, for real. I thought it was just, I don't know. I thought she would just be, I don't know why I thought she was just missing or something. But then as time went on, like, especially as we learned more about this creature, they're not them, it just seemed more concrete that she was actually gone forever. And I never even, like, even though I should have, I guess I considered it once or twice. Not once or twice, but, like, every once in a while in the back of my mind. But I always, I guess, just didn't want to believe it, that she was gone. What the heck? So, yeah, okay. Signing off until the next event.